by the shores of Lake Ontario. A perfect summer evening in Canada. Great football weather. This time last year, the Toronto Argonauts went to work on taking ownership of this. They hired a man with a plan. He acquired someone to put the plan in motion. Using the talents of his veterans, running back Pinball Clemens. Wide receiver Paul Massotti. And the late season addition of linebacker Mike O'Shea. When called, they stepped up. They own the cup. They plan to keep it. From Skydome in Toronto, the roof is open as the defending Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts host the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. With CFL Hall of Famer Dan Kepley, I'm Rob Folds, ready for another terrific season of Canadian football. And Kep, please do not adjust your atlas. They already made a geography switch for us. With the folding of the Ottawa Rough Riders, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are now in the Eastern Division, giving them a 4-4 split. The Toronto Argonauts are the defending Grey Cup champions, and leading the way for them, Doug Flutie.
No doubt you want this guy pulling the trigger for you, the marquee player of the CFL. He's setting out now to do something that no other team has done in 15 years, to repeat as Grey Cup champions. And one of his main weapons, this guy, Mike Pinball Clemens.
For the Bombers, Greg Vargas gets the call at quarterback.
Greg Vargas coming over with a trade from the BC Lions will be throwing for the trade to Shalon Baker, a wide receiver who was a Rookie of the Year in 1995.
Not going to be easy for the Bombers. What are going to be the keys to victory in this ballgame?
Tonight for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the keys would be, first and foremost, hold on to the ball, meaning possession drives, keep Doug Flutie off the field. Defensively, they cannot give up any big plays, no home run plays. Win the kicking game, make Doug Flutie start on a long field. For the Toronto Argonauts, use that speed and use Doug Flutie's arm. Take it vertical, stretch the defense. Keep the Winnipeg defense off balance by changing their formations, trying to get some mismatches. The best thing that they can do, pick up exactly where they left off in November of 1996.
Lots of new faces for the Bombers, including the head coach Jeff Reinbold. After 6 years as an assistant, let's call him rock and roll Reinbold. He is ready to throw a few wrinkles at it. And Don Matthews leading the way, looking for another Grey Cup in 1997. He was 15-3 last year with the Toronto Argonauts. He says they can do better.
Well, he thinks so. What he did, he said, I have challenged my ball club to go out there each week and get just a little better than you did at the end of that November Grey Cup game last year. And if you do that, then everything else will take care of itself.
Ready to go. Vanderjet will kick off. The deep men for the Bombers. Number 2, Shalon Baker. Number 5, Dexter Dawson. The quest for the 1997 Grey Cup is underway. High kick by Vanderjet. It is taken by Baker. Baker starts the break through, gets just shy of the 50-yard line. That is where Vargas and the Bombers will start. Chris Vargas comes over and he gets the opportunity to lead the way. Ronald Williams and Dave Pitcher will be in the backfield. The slot backs are Stiegel and Boyko. Shalon Baker will be a man to watch as one of the wideouts along with Ted Alford. On the line, Hendrickson, Bjorn, Van Conant, McNeil, and Perez. Vargas calling plays, going to the air right away, looking deep for Baker, and that was overthrown.
Chris Vargas goes out there and he wants to go for the home run early in this ball game, make something happen, try to keep this Toronto defense off key. And here's the Toronto defense up front. You've got Maxey, Andrew Stewart, Rob Waltrip, and Oscar Giles coming over. The linebackers, Benson, Michael O'Shea in the middle, and Reggie Gibbons on the outside. Covering the back end, Donald Smith, Marcelo Simmons, Lester Smith at the safety, Johnny Harris at the half, and Adrian Smith on the corner.
Apparently they're asking Simmons and Harris to change their name to Smith just to avoid confusion. Second down, incomplete by Vargas. And out comes the punting unit. Well, the first thing that you wanted them to do, Kep, in your keys, was to keep Flutie off the field. They won the toss. They got to the field first. Unfortunately, Chris Vargas couldn't move his team.
This is what this Toronto defense will do to you. In their first exhibition game against the Hamilton Ticats, in the first series, Hamilton had the ball 11 times. 10 of those series, the Toronto defense made them go out, 2 and out, and they were on the sideline. Doug Flutie was on the field.
The veteran, 18 years with the Bombers, Bob Cameron, gets a high punt away. Pinball goes after it, out of bounds. It goes out of bounds at the 25. And Doug Flutie marches in. Spoke to Doug before the game, and he thinks he might now be the slowest man in the backfield.
He took a look around, the guys that he's surrounded by, and I looked at him and said, well, you are getting just a little older. He took an offense to that, and I'm sure that he's going to work on his speed.
Drummond and Clemens will work around Doug Flutie as the running backs. Slot backs Mitchell and Malvo. M&M they call them. They're the speedsters. Dimitrition and Masati. And on the line, Kiselak will center with Verchevel and Payne as the guards. Williams and Jaskis the tackles. Flutie looking back to pass, and here's the outlet right away. And it goes out of bounds. Good job. And look who it is, number 88, Paul Masati.
The 10-year veteran out of Stony Creek, Ontario, does a great job coming across the line of scrimmage. Defense for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Colin Scrivener on the end, Tyrone Rogers in the middle, Tommy Fagan on the outside. Their linebacking setup, Shante Peoples, Greg Battle, the veteran, in the middle, Dwayne Knight, and George Noga on the outside. They're back in Hamilton, Carthon, Henry, Garrett, Shannon Garrett doing a terrific job, and Nick Ferguson.
Flutie calling signals, back to pass, got the time again, rolls around, and he'll pick up about 3 yards. So Doug Flutie not afraid to go. Peoples brings him down. And for Flutie, he had over 700 yards in rushing last season.
They do a good job in the back end, covering these defenders, doing a good job covering the receivers, I should say, forcing Doug Flutie, hold that ball, hold it a little more, make him throw the ball on Winnipeg's time as opposed to on Doug Flutie's time, is what defensive coordinator Mike Roach told me the plan was going into the game.
2nd and 8 from the 43. Flutie in the shotgun. Looks up the middle. Great catch. Hauled in very nicely by Mitchell. He's got the first down. He's into Winnipeg territory to the 45, a 22-yard reception.
Mike Roach has been known as a defensive coordinator that will gamble. He comes with a halfback blitz from the left side of the screen. It makes it one-on-one coverage with everybody across the middle. Garrett tries to get a piece of the receiver. Mitchell doesn't do a good job. Mitchell looks very well inside to the middle. Doug Flutie makes no mistake of putting the ball on the money.
Again from the shotgun. Flutie waits, starts to take off now. Sees a little bit of room, dumps it off to Drummond, who gets to the 40. Flutie again saw a little bit of pressure, and that's something that Reinbold wanted to do to him. Throw a lot of different looks at him to get him out of the pocket.
Rob, we talked about how well this offensive line did last year. Only gave up 18 sacks. One big reason, the mobility of Doug Flutie. He can avoid getting sacked. Everybody on that offensive set, receivers, backs, know that once Doug starts to scramble, find an open spot, get open, Doug will figure out how to get the ball to you.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Flutie stops back. It's dumped over the middle, handled by Masati. Masati gets the first down and across the 30. A nice crossing pattern for Masati. That's who he looked for. He was hauled down by Andrew Henry.
The last three years, 94, 95, 96, Paul Masati has caught over 1,000 yards in receptions.
Argonauts 15 and 3 last season. The Bombers were 9 and 9. Lots of motion. Flutie again finds room. That is Dimitrition. Dimitrition moves his way out of the 15. Good job for the Argonauts on their first possession. A 13-yard gain, another first down.
Big Canadian receiver, 6'2", 225. He was with Doug Flutie when Doug Flutie was in Calgary, so they have had a good relationship pitching and catching the ball.
Canadians on both sides with Masati and Dimitrition. Flutie looking again over the middle. Lots of room. Touchdown. Robert Drummond takes it in. The cannons go off. The Argos are on the board. Well, that was easy.
Easy pitch and catch for Doug Flutie and Robert Drummond. They did it 11 times last year. Miscue in the secondary. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers left Drummond wide open. All he had to do, the toughest part, look the ball in, make the catch, get it across the goal line.
Mike Vanderjet with the point after. It is up. It is good. But we've got a flag right now. The Argonauts leading the Bombers 7-0. This is the CFL on ESPN. The Canadian Football League on ESPN is brought to you by Advil. No non-prescription pain reliever is proven to work better than Advil. Well, you see the grin. That is Robert Drummond. He found the room. 16-yard pass from Doug Flutie, and 5 minutes in to the first quarter. The Argonauts in their first possession make it cash. And look at the number on Flutie here. Kept 6 for 6 and an 83-yard drive.
As you said, he made it look so easy. He picked this Winnipeg defense apart. He has so many weapons that he can choose from, so many sets that he goes out there, and he is so versatile and so athletic. It was an easy score for the Toronto Argonauts.
Drummond led the league with 17 touchdowns last season. He's got number 1 of the year. Don Matthews wanted his team to come out and really establish something early. They've done that. They have not allowed a touchdown, the defense, in 8 quarters in preseason. The only scoring came on missed field goals run back for touchdowns. So right now the defense has something to be proud of, and the offense can be pretty happy as they scored on their first possession.
And Don Matthews takes such a big part in the special teams. He is really upset about having those run back on the special teams missed field goal.
Dexter Dawson takes it, and he is bumped and dragged down at the 25. So Chris Vargas gets his second shot at leading the Winnipeg offense. This is a brand new Winnipeg team, though. Kept 26 different players.
Take a look at Robert Drummond on the outside. He's going to have his 2 inside receivers clear out, and then it's just a drag across the middle. Miscue in the secondary of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Doug Flutie, that quick release, finds Robert Drummond wide open inside, and Drummond makes no mistake about getting it in.
Vargas, the pitch into the backfield, busting through. Nice run by Ronald Williams. Williams, in his second year in the CFL, spent some time with BC before joining Winnipeg.
Joe Paopao is the offensive coordinator of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, was the head coach of the BC Lions last year. He has worked with Jeff Brown before. They're very close friends. Joe Paopao said, we don't think we can run the ball inside against Toronto. We're going to have to pitch it, take it outside, and see if we can do something with our speed.
Alford and Baker are the wideouts. Here's Vargas. He's being rushed. Flips it out. There's nobody there. He had 2 men on him extremely quickly. He had Demetrius Maxey and Waldrop, and he had to get rid of it. Here's a look now at the sidelines. Winnipeg trying to get something going.
This is the kind of situation that Toronto likes to keep you in. 2nd and long, force you to have to do something major.
Having to dump it out, not able to hold it on. Great pop there, and a little incidental action too. Not very happy, but that was Dave Pitcher.
David Pitcher, the fullback, was in Montreal last year. He is Mr. Versatility. As a fullback in Saskatchewan, when he went to Montreal, they made him a nose tackle. Now he comes back. He's 250 pounds. He's lining up and playing fullback.
Winnipeg, number 37, third down.
Major foul against pitcher for just getting the extra shot.
Called it unnecessary roughness against pitcher. As Donald Smith came up, gave him a little shot. Pitcher took exception to this. Watch as he dumps it off. The ball babbles around a bit. Smith takes a shot at him. Pitcher says, hey, I'm not taking any of this. Get out of my face. Gets the flag.
3rd and 25. Deep men for the Argonauts. Pinball Clemens. He's tracking it down. He's at the 50. Crosses midfield. There's a flag on the play. Getting up slowly is Bob Cameron. We'll sort it out when we come back. Argos lead by a touchdown in Toronto. Well, Adrian Smith was a little aggressive with Bob Cameron. Got a roughing the kicker call. It is now 3rd and 15, and Cameron gets another punt at it. They're keeping one man back for the Argos. The pinball. Pinball hauls it in around the 33. Sidesteps one, gets just over the 40.
Mike Pinball Clemens, arguably the most electrifying guy in the CFL and has been for years. 5'6", 165 pounds, out of William and Mary, and he's been doing it that way for years.
Interesting, though, at the beginning of last season with Doug Flutie just joining the Argos, he had trouble trying to find a spot to use Clemens. It took him a couple of games to get Clemens worked in.
Well, they were trying to build up a relationship, but the thing that Mike Clemens has always been the go-to guy, but then he was surrounded by other great athletes, Drummond, the wide receiver, Masadi, and it really has helped Mike Clemens.
And now great catch here. Look at the field that was open, wide open. This is a terrific play by the Toronto Argonauts and the speedster. Philman Malveaux gets the long gain, 27 yards. But there is a flag on the play back at the 40-yard line. It's a procedure call.
28. Repeat first down.
And it is against Dimitrish. They'll repeat the first down.
Malveaux is just a great addition that Don Matthews has found, and also the general manager, Eric Tillman, who deals with personnel. He is a speedster, born and bred a track guy. But he is now, he went to Michigan, played football for 2.5 years, and then decided that he was going to play track. Now he's come back to football.
Flutie starts from his own 35. Working it up. Not a huge gain at all by the running back, Robert Drummond. We were talking about Clemens and not getting use early. 116 catches over the season. They started to go to him, but it was a comfort zone that it took Flutie a little bit of time to get used to. Clemens coming out of the running back position. They threw to him. Oh, the all-purpose yards by that guy was amazing. Over 2,600 all-purpose yards.
Rob, what I said, when he gets surrounded by all the kind of personnel that they have, it's hard for anybody to concentrate on just Mike Clemens. That's why he had such an exceptional year.
Which could help a youngster like Philman Malveaux. Now there's the pinball. He gets across the line of scrimmage and dragged out. Not a big gain. And the punting unit will come out. But that's only going to benefit somebody like Malveaux, who's a rookie. They say, okay, you're going to go to Mitchell, you're going to go to Dimitrish, you're going to go to Masadi, you're going to go to pinball. I can relax a little.
And defenses can't roll up on him, double cover Malveaux, and try to take him out of the ball game because they'll get killed one-on-one with all the other people. The great thing about it is that you have such good athletes to surround you. It's hard defensively to figure out who you're going to really try to take out of the game.
Shalon Baker at his own 25, waiting for the punt from Mike Vanderjet. Baker at the 27, nowhere to go. Look at the coverage there. So we'll see them come out. Rogers on the tackle to replace Cal Murphy in that Manitoba City, but now it's up to Jeff Reinbold to do it. And has a little charisma, he does.
Well, admittedly, he's a free-spirited kind of guy. When you replace a man like Cal Murphy, who was just a salt of the earth, I mean, the pillar was right there. He had his ways, he had his standard. But then here comes a young 39-year-old head coach in, earrings in each ear. a Rastafarian at some point. And this guy does it right. He created some new environment in Winnipeg.
There's a flag on the play. Just get across the line of scrimmage. So you're saying a pillar of the community was Cal Murphy, salt of the earth. Does that mean it's a pillar of salt?
You know something, but the great thing about Reinbold is the thing, he has such great respect for everything that Cal Murphy did. 14 years in Winnipeg, Grey Cups championships.
94, repeat first down.
Offside, Oscar Giles, and they'll repeat the down. That was Williams with the carry. As Reinbold said, though, he wants to be different than Cal Murphy, and he likes the style of coaching of somebody like Donnie Matthews.
He enjoys that. He likes to live on the edge. That was Don Matthews' trademark line last year.
1st and 5. The pitch goes to Stiegel, the slot back. Very close to the first down. Waiting for the call. It's the first time we've seen Stiegel. Went to Miami, Ohio. He's from Cincinnati. Saw a little action with the Bengals, too, in the NFL. And they're bringing it out for a measurement.
Stiegel was a bit of a go-to guy last year. 34 catches, 613 yards, 6 touchdowns.
That was Vargas's first reception. Whoa, just the nose of the ball. First down.
Good look again at Coach Reinbold. Said the other day in the press conference, quoted, this was an old and aging, underachieving team, and this needed to be changed. And this is exactly what he has done. There is only 14 returners from the team last year.
A new gun in town. Vargas, 1st and 10 with the Bombers at their own 40. Back to pass, gets a good look, comes across the middle, is picked off, no, then dropped. Did the Bombers get lucky? Gibbons in and out of his hands. He's got to wonder what happened.
Reggie Gibbons, the 6', 220-pound linebacker out of Penn State, has it catch him right in the chest. Take a look. Hard throw by Chris Vargas. Ball gets stripped. Good job up front, blocking right until Vargas released the ball.
2nd and 10. Vargas rolling to his right, down the lines again, a bounce. Good defense by Donald Smith. He was all over his man, Ted Alford. Send in the Smith brothers. One of them.
There's 3 of them. You don't know who you're going to get when you send them in.
That's why you
but
just
take
have
a
to
look.
say Smith.
Good block on the corner by David Pitcher. Allows Vargas to get outside, throws the ball slightly high. But as you said, Donald Smith does a great defensive play. Comes up, he had 5 picks last year.
Pinball Clemens at his own 26-yard line. He'll take it. Cameron's punt. Take it at the 37. Pinball right up the middle around the 43-yard line. And a flag.
Late flag. A lot of pushing and shoving going on out there.
Jake Ireland is the man in charge of this game and the officialing crew.
First down.
Call was against Winnipeg. Great battle. It would be a first down for the Argonauts. They'll get a great spot on it. Very close to, in fact, in Winnipeg's, let's see, right at midfield, it looks like.
It's tough enough when you try to stop Doug Flutie and his offense, as you saw in the first series of plays when he marched it down the field for the score. You cannot make mistakes, and you can't take stupid penalties against a team and a guy like Doug Flutie.
Flutie 8 for 8, 92 yards and a touchdown to Drummond 5 minutes into the first quarter. Flutie starts to move, looks downfield, there's nobody there. In and out, we've got a penalty. Paul Massotti had his hands out. He was driven out of bounds, started to wander in.
I think we're going to get illegal contact against Nick Ferguson, number 33.
And Jake Ireland calls the interference. So right now, Winnipeg getting themselves hurt.
Winnipeg number 33. First down.
And a first down for the Argonauts as Winnipeg hands it to them.
That's a quick 25-30 yards. One penalty against Greg Battle and another penalty against number 33, Nick Ferguson. But take a look at the hit and the pressure that Doug Flutie gets by number 91. That's Tyrone Rogers out of Washington. Right up in Doug Flutie's face, forces him to throw it off balance.
Flutie got the time over the middle. Again, this is Mitchell. Mitchell finds some room, gets into the 20. Well, make that the 17-yard line. Daryl Mitchell.
Daryl Mitchell in the second preseason game against the Montreal Alouettes had 8 catches for 141 yards, 3 touchdowns. Take a look at him. He's the second guy in. You're going to clear out on the outside guy, the inside guy, the guy in the middle. All he's going to do is drag underneath. You see the coverage, how 2 guys go with the same receiver, and that allows Mitchell to get wide open underneath. This has been a pattern that Doug Flutie has gone to constantly in this first quarter.
A little familiar, too, because that's what Drummond did. Came across the middle and taken in the touchdown pass, and now to Mitchell. Little defense there. He was all over them. Paul Massotti and Nick Ferguson are having a battle. And right now, I think Massotti's winning.
Right now, it's Massotti, Doug Flutie, and the whole Toronto Argonaut team.
Yeah. Waiting for the call. 7-0 the score. Flutie to Drummond, a 16-yard pass. Now we're waiting to see. Ferguson got nipped once, and he got caught again.
Just coming from the left of your screen, you see Ferguson gets that right hand across Paul Massotti's right shoulder, gets the interference call, makes it 1st and goal on about the 7 or 8 yard line.
I'll talk about putting the Argos into position. Nick Ferguson's done that on 2 calls against Paul Massotti. And Flutie's got options, plenty of options. He can look at Drummond as he did in the first touchdown. He's got pinball, Massotti, Demetrician. Flutie looks, he's being rushed over the middle. Massotti got his right hand on it, just couldn't haul it in. So a second shot for the Argos, 2nd and goal. Penalties, 6 for 50, 2 for 15 for the Argonauts.
This is one thing that Don Matthews has always had a great philosophy, and he requires of his ball clubs. You have to be disciplined. You cannot take stupid penalties. You have to be professional when you step on the field. And this Toronto team certainly does exemplify that.
That was Doug Flutie's first incomplete pass. He takes another look around. Throws over the middle. The catch? No. But there is a flag on the play at about the line of scrimmage. That was intended for pinball.
Doug Flutie came up to the line of scrimmage, and he gave it that little stutter count, that hut, hut, hut. And I think he caught the Winnipeg defense offsides. Had him jumping.
Offside. Winnipeg number 92. Repeat 2nd down.
Just to explain one of the rules to you in the Canadian Football League, the defensive line has to line up 1 yard off the line of scrimmage. By sound or by movement, if you get caught in that neutral zone, it is considered offsides, 5-yard penalty.
You can see exactly who moved. A little dance there for number 92's Colin Scribner. And it was neat to watch because Flutie went over and apologized the pinball for the bad throw. Rolling to his right. Oh, no, stripped out right at the line. Incomplete.
Ball slightly thrown behind Robert Drummond.
Drummond looked like he had a hand on it, had to bobble it a little bit. Being well covered, though, by Andrew Henry.
Take a look as Doug rolls out. Pass is thrown. Drummond has to reach back with the right hand. Just can't come up with the grab.
Well, now it's up to Mike Vanderjet to nail a very short chip shot, a 12-yarder.
Pretty easy. Vanderjet last year 40 for 50 and for 56. Longest was 51 yards. He was 71% as a field goal kicker.
It is up and good. A 12-yard field goal puts the Argos ahead 10-0. You're watching the Canadian Football League on ESPN. After the first quarter, Toronto leads Winnipeg 10-0. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage, and we'll be right back after these messages. Kepley, I'm Rob Folds in Toronto at the Skydome. The Toronto Argonauts, the defending Grey Cup champions, hosting the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. First game of the season for both these teams. Flags are up. Vargas looks deep down the sidelines. And he was looking for Alford. But the flags, they were going quick.
Two calls I think we're going to get, Rob. We're going to get offsides against Winnipeg, and we're going to get unnecessary roughness against Toronto, I should say, both of them.
Offside was one call, and I think roughing the passer may have been the other.
Right in the middle, you can see that's number 92. That's Rob Walter. He gets called in the neutral zone. Now watch after the ball is released.
Saw the arm go around him.
Chris Vargas gets hit. You can see the arm going around, but then there was a little extracurricular activity after that that put him down to the turf. So they tacked on another 15 yards to it.
That wasn't just a hug for camaraderie. 30-yard line for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Fake to Williams. Sideline now is Shalon Baker, and Baker makes his first catch for 5 yards.
This is a series that Joe Powell likes to run. He ran in Edmonton when Damon Allen, Marcus Allen's brother, was the quarterback there. Damon Allen, the starting quarterback in the BC Lions. Naked bootleg, fake the handoff inside, come out all by himself. Oscar Giles is having nothing to do with that. Stands outside, plays containment, forces Vargas to have to throw the ball to Baker on the outside. Good play on the outside on the corner by Adrian Smith.
Just say naked.
Naked. It's a naked bootleg. It's only the terminology you have to do when you talk football.
Well, there was a run by Ronald Williams. I liked it. Naked bootleg.
When you come from Albemarle, North Carolina, you played at East Carolina, it's naked. Little toss to the outside. Gives it to Williams, and he gets the ball up in front of him. He's got his shoulders pointed up the field. Makes a good effort. Mike O'Shea there to make the tackle.
Well, that might be the best play for the Bombers, too. It hasn't worked downfield. You might as well work out and then try to kind of sneak in that way.
Excuse me, did you say out?
Oh, excuse me.
It's out.
I'm doing it because we're in Canada. Vargas looks to the end zone, and Baker too far for him. This is what happens when cultures collide. We're naked outside.
Shalon Baker comes to the outside, breaks it like he's going to go to the post, then he takes it straight up the seam. Vargas with good protection just slightly overthrows him.
2nd and 10 from the 16. Vargas looking to the right. Nobody there, cutting the wrong way. Not what was supposed to happen. All of a sudden, you could see the receiver look over his shoulder and go, I'm not supposed to be there.
That's Milt Siegel. He comes in, and as you say, Vargas is expecting him to break it, curl inside. Milt Siegel does that. Vargas throws it to the outside.
And now Troy Westwood will get an opportunity to get the Bombers on the board. A 23-yard field goal.
Westwood comes into the game in 14th spot on the all-time CFL scoring list. He makes his field goal. He moves up to the 13th spot, passing Zenon Andrusician.
And 3 minutes into the second quarter, Bombers on the board. Toronto Argonauts lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers by a touchdown. Field goal by Troy Westwood, 23 yards. First score for the Bombers. Well, they've gone now with Pinball Clemens and Thelman Malveaux. Looking for a little speed on the return. Just inside the 20. Here's Malveaux. He slips to the 36. Look at the quarterbacks right now. Kep Flutie, 9 of 11, 121 yards and a TD. And Vargas, 3 for 12, just 18 yards.
And Doug Flutie started it off 6 for 6 for 83 yards in that first drive that he had. Vargas not trying to keep track with Doug Flutie. He's just trying to make it point for point if he can. That was a big score just to get the field goal. 10-3 now, and it gives a little bit of confidence for that Winnipeg team to think they can at least move the ball down the field. Granted, it was aided by a couple of penalties, but they'll take it.
Flutie working from his 35. There's a flag on the play. Malveau's got the ball at the 40. And we'll have to watch the call. It's a 5-yard gain by Malveaux. Malveaux, as you said, 2 years of football at Michigan, then switched to track. Ran track for 2 years with a track scholarship, and then worked at a youth center, and all of a sudden got the itch for football again. Call is against the Argonauts.
Illegal procedure against the Argonauts. Back it up 5 yards.
So Malveaux got the itch, and he's scratching it with the Argonauts. He said he went to a scouting combine, and John Jenkins, the man who scouted him from high school, saw him, went, we can use him.
John Jenkins, who's the offensive coordinator of the Toronto Argonauts, has been the head coach at Houston, so he knows a lot about it with a run and shoot offense that he has run before, and he knows a lot about speed, and that young man right there has every bit of it. Now he just has to teach him how to be a receiver.
Flutie looking around, got the pinball crossing pattern at the 40, tries to get away from his man. Good little move by the pinball before getting hauled down.
Pinball in 96, his combined yardage 2,626 yards. As I said, he's in his 9th year out of William and Mary. And without a doubt, the most recognizable player, possibly other than Doug Flutie, in the CFL, but definitely in Toronto.
2nd and 1. Flutie, the give comes right up the middle of Robert Drummond. They've got the first down. Pinball loves it here. He's made Toronto his home. He is out doing charity work. He just says, this is where I've decided to live. He's just happy to be living and playing in Toronto.
Doug Flutie loves to get in these formations. Spread it out, 6-pack receivers, get in the shotgun, make something happen. Let's go to the playground.
1st and 10. Flutie tucks it in, finds some room. Was he over the line? Masadi got lots of room. No flags. Masadi gets down to the 10-yard line. Oh, you look at what Doug Flutie can do when he gets loose. Unbelievable if you can read lips on Reinbold.
Tandem stack on the outside. Masadi just runs by, finds the open area, gets the hand up, said, hey, Doug, here it is, baby. Doug finds him wide open. Paul does a great job of running with the ball after the catch.
At a 50-yard gain for Paul Masadi. He's charging after another 1,000-yard season. From the 12. Flutie floats it over the middle. Touchdown! Yes, for Mitchell. Daryl Mitchell's got the Argos into the end zone again.
His first CFL touchdown in the regular season. As I said, he had 3 against Montreal in the 2nd exhibition game. Doug does a great job. Take a look at him, just coming from the left of your screen, shotgun formation, quick release as he turns Reggie Carthon around.
And Daryl Mitchell makes it 16. Mike Vanderjet makes it 17-3. Argos leading the way, 14-point lead. Welcome back to the Sky Dome in Toronto, Ontario, where the defending Grey Cup champion Argonauts lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 17-3. The Bombers will bring the ball out on their own 31-yard line. Chris Vargas leading the offense. Vargas sends Stiegel in motion to the right, but the give is to Williams. And O'Shea, Mike O'Shea, the fine Canadian linebacker, drops him.
One of the things that Chris Vargas has to do is try to run the ball inside a little bit, freeze that defense as much as he can so that he can buy some time to get outside. Mike O'Shea, along with Andre Stewart, does a great job closing down the line of scrimmage, get in on the typo.
2nd and 8. Vargas will work from the shotgun. Swings to his right, looks for room right at the yard marker. He's got his man. No flag, and Williams gets the call again.
Williams is a very exciting addition to this Winnipeg backfield. 5'10", about 210 out of Clemson. This is his first year with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
So a little bit of time with BC for jumping aboard the Rhine Bowl rock and roll roller coaster. Vargas, 1st and 10, was looking for Shalon Baker, and Baker didn't even have to try for that one. That was over his head. Kev, we haven't touched on it yet as we take a look at Joe Paopao standing in. Okay, I think he just ordered pizza.
No, I think what he said, Chris, whatever you do, stay away from Stewart, because that man will hurt you.
Actually, the way he flapped his arms, he could have been ordering wings. Joe Paopao.
Now if you're ordering wings, you got to get with Milt Siegel, because he has a chicken wing place down in Nashville, Tennessee.
You're going to say because it's Stiegel, close enough to Siegel for you. Back to passes Vargas, looking deep, and that's all he sees is turf. Both sides. The ball hits the turf, and he hit the turf.
Adrian Smith, one-on-one with Shalon Baker, does a great job, just will not let him get vertical, will not let him get down the field.
Out comes Bob Cameron and the punting unit.
Right on the outside. This is number 91. That's Demetrius Maxey. Comes in, puts a little pressure on Chris Vargas, forces him to throw that ball. The ball was thrown way downfield, but Shalon Baker was nowhere to be found.
Bob Cameron, big punt. Over his shoulder was pinball. It took a while to get turned around. He got turned around at his own 15. A fine job by Bob Cameron. Argos will take possession. They lead by 14. Argonauts lead the Blue Bombers 17-3 with 6 minutes remaining in the 2nd quarter. Next action of the CFL on ESPN. Calgary visits Montreal July 12th. Check the local listings for the time in your area. Tracy Ham is back with the Alouettes. A very short-lived retirement.
Well, he had retired. He was going to go down and be an offensive coordinator at Georgia Southern. But there's something about a significant amount of money that will make you think about, well, maybe I can retire next year.
Well, and also the Alouettes could be a threat in the East. Calgary, well, after last year and kind of the Edmonton battle they had, who knows in the West. Doug Flutie on the move. Got the pinball wide open. Pinball midfield, makes a move, gets tackled, and his shoe comes off as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Shante Peoples hauls him down. A 44-yard pass and catch.
Now what's happening now defensively, what the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are trying to do, this is number 5, Dexter Dawson, who is a receiver. He is covering pinball one-on-one. Now this is a receiver playing defense. They're trying to play man-to-man with him. Obviously not doing a very good job. Pinball works it to the inside, slides to the outside. Doug Flutie picks up that mismatch, watches the pass all the way down the field. He knows he's got it.
And again, passing. It's bumped out by Masadi. Loose ball. Recovered by the Bombers. Masadi made the catch. It was bumped out. And the Bombers dodge a huge bullet.
You can see Jeff Reinbold right there is talking to Dexter Dawson about the play prior to this. Get a look at this play. Paul Masadi makes the catch. Ball is stripped from the outside. That's number 3. Brandon Hamilton comes in, does a great job on that, turns the ball over, gives it to Chris Vargas.
Now Vargas starting at his own 40. That was the first turnover of the game. And Masadi not happy about it. Give us to Williams. He charges through for 2 and then is pushed way back. And there is a flag behind the play. Could be a late hit. Getting nipped forward was Mike O'Shea.
Mike O'Shea's been noted to get a little intense out there. That middle linebacker, he comes with the territory. Just at the top of your screen, he comes in there, takes a shot at number 57. That's Brett McNeil. And then to his rescue, Craig Henderson comes over and takes a shot at him. Gets to be a little bit of WWF here pretty soon.
All in all, first down at the 53. Vargas back to pass. Oh, it's almost picked off. And you know that Adrian Smith would like another shot at that. Hit him in the hands.
If you're a defensive back, you lay in the bed, you dream about these kind of plays. You know the out's going to come. You make a perfect break on the ball. Look at him. Ball's perfectly thrown. Comes off the right hand. Adrian Smith with 5 picks last year. Young man at 25 years old out of Southwest Missouri.
Going after Alan Boyko there on the sidelines, and he had a clear path. Now he's trying to get back in position. Little motion from the shotgun. Vargas steps back over the middle. Nice catch by Alford. He gets to the 45. 8-yard reception.
Alford comes up limping just slightly. Does a great job of coming across the middle. This is not a big guy either. He's only 5'9", about 165. When you come into that territory, you're going to make some contact and some collision with some big guys that are out to hurt you.
That's why those gentlemen are fast to get out of the way quickly.
3rd and about 1.5 yards, and Winnipeg's going to go for it.
So Reinbold showing some initiative. 3rd and 1. Vargas might get it lucky with the offside call, but was the Winnipeg defender drawn, or did he go by himself?
Vargas seemed to go with, again, that stutter count, the long count, and it caught the Winnipeg defenders. Andrew Stewart comes up and makes the tackle, but I don't think he was the one.
Oh, 92, Rob Waldron. All-star last year. A little early. Wanted to get in there and stuff up the middle. First down at the 39 for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They're using some calls now to take advantage. The turnover has certainly helped. Vargas steps back. The give is to Williams. Williams, a little stutter move, gets to the 31. 8-yard gain. And that will show the 3-minute warning here in the first half. Argonauts lead in Toronto. But Winnipeg deep in Argo territory. Vargas gives the ball, and Williams rolls to the left side and out of bounds. And we've got a late flag.
One of the things that Joe Paopao thought he could do would be able to seal off the corner, toss the ball, run it to the outside, And Winnipeg has executed that play extremely well.
Foul. Unnecessary roughness. Toronto number 91. First.
Demetrius Maxey gets caught on the unnecessary roughness and just continues the march. The Bombers downfield. And this will not sit well with that man. So Vargas and the Bombers at the 11-yard line. 1st and 10. Strength to the right side. They give us to Williams. He gets to the 5 and then is held up. Maxey in along with Giles. I think everybody in that front 4 got a piece of it.
Good blocking off that right side of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Hendrickson at tackle, Bjorn at the guard, Van Coen at the center. Does a terrific job. Creates just a little bit of a space. And the young running back out of Clemson shows great leg drive, getting the ball down to about the 5-yard line.
6-yard gain. Williams has been the workhorse. Vargas, quick drop, looks over. The defense there was from Donald Smith. Vargas wants to know why there was no call. Shalon Baker wants to know why there was no call. And Smith goes and talks to the crowd.
I guess my only thing, I'm wondering about the call itself. Why you're doing such a good job. The last 4 times you've run the ball, you're having some success running it inside. You've got 2nd and about 4 yards. You can pick up a 1st down without scoring. And you want to throw the ball to the outside, and these Toronto defenders are being just like shadows with the receivers of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
And with Williams all of a sudden starting to find some success, 7 carries, 42 yards. Now it leaves Troy Westwood to try to find another 3 points. He does from the 13-yard line. 13-yard field goal. It's now 17-6. An 11-point lead for the Toronto Argonauts. Coming 12 minutes and 55 seconds into the 2nd quarter.
Well, the thing that Winnipeg has to know right now, they put some points on the board, but not to get it too overconfident. The only reason they moved the ball down the field that easily was aided by a couple of serious penalties from the Toronto Argonauts. Don Matthews will have some conversation about that on the sideline. I played with him in 1977 and 1982. He's the defensive coordinator of the Edmonton Eskimos, and he demands you to be responsible, to be clean about the way you play, and to be smart about the way you play.
And that will be duly noted on the sideline too. He'll talk to his men to tell them just to play tough and try to get their mind back in focus.
Don will tell you the first thing about it. He said, you better be thick-skinned around me, because if you're thin-skinned, you won't hang around with our ball club very long. Because I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel, and there's no black, it's all black and white. There's no gray areas.
And he's got the success. 8 Grey Cup rings, 5 as an assistant, 3 as a head coach, 1 with BC, 1 with Baltimore, and 1 with Toronto last year. On the kick, back deep for it is Feldman Malveaux. Malveaux picks it up, and he's got room down the sidelines before being hauled down on the 32. But Malveaux made something out of that after looking like there was a problem. A 30-yard pickup.
Think of some of that panic return, because Malveaux let the ball go back over his head. The first thing you don't want to do is let the kickoff hit the ground anywhere. Starts rolling toward the goal line. Now he figures out this is a little panic. I better make something happen. And he does. He gets it out to the 33-yard line.
And this is always a treat to watch Doug Flutie work with not a lot of time. Now, there's only shy of 2 minutes remaining in the 2nd quarter.
You're speaking that from an offensive person. If you're playing defense again, it's not a pretty thing to see.
It's too much time. Now everybody moving too quickly. Flags go. Quick off the mark, too. Number 58 was Chris Giaskis.
Exactly. He got called for illegal procedure.
He stood up. He thought he'd had the call and knew as soon as he went, he looked over and there was nobody else up with him. It's a special night here in Toronto as well. They're honoring the 1947 Argonaut team that won the Grey Cup. That was a series of 3 straight for the Argos. They won in 45, 46, and 47. And the Argos of 96 would like to make it 2 in a row in 97 to get their own sweep going. Look at the penalties now. Toronto with 85 on 10. Winnipeg all of a sudden is second in the penalty calls. Nice little crossing pattern to Robert Drummond. Gets about 6, maybe less.
You can see just a little hesitation here with this secondary of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Toronto Argonauts receiving corps has so much speed. Everybody's laying off, making them throw the ball underneath, and the Toronto receivers having so much area to operate. Doug Flutie can just pick and pitch and catch it, whichever one that he'd like to throw to.
With the penalty, that was a 10-yard reception by Drummond. 2nd and 5. Flutie under pressure, gets away from one, tosses it Masadi. Now we got a flag. Masadi dove for it. It was out of his reach. A flag comes down. And you see the early indications pointing towards Winnipeg.
Well, we got some illegal contact on the receiver.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver at Winnipeg number 5. First down.
Dexter Dawson, wide receiver now DB, added a little extra contact.
One-on-one with Pinball. Pinball makes a little move on him. That left hand grabs some cloth, pulls Pinball back down, and he gets caught for that penalty.
Extra swing by Dexter Dawson. Attended Georgia Southern. 1st and 10 at the 48. Flutie dishes it off. Here's Stiegel. Sorry, check that. That was Malveaux. Malveaux rolls in, and the speed of Malveaux starting to pay off.
Well, a couple of things are happening here, Rob. The same thing. I think the speed of Malveaux is really an asset to him, but the one thing that's really happening is some terrible defending by the Winnipeg secondary. Poor coverage is allowing the Toronto receivers.
Number 65.
And a hold by Toronto. That was Willie Williams getting caught.
Take a look at Doug Flutie. He looks and he surveys the whole field, gives it a little slide arm shot. Malveau's right there, not a defender in sight. Malveaux turns it upfield, tries to cut back across, then gets down.
And Willie Williams, who saw some time in the NFL. Oh, Malveaux trying to celebrate, and all of a sudden there are 2 players there. Malveaux going, what?
It's more like, hey, kid, you just got to this league. That's your second catch of the day.
Flutie pitches it up. Pinball down the sidelines, just at midfield. On the Argo side of midfield, now we've got get together right at the line. Sorted out of the way, but Brandon Hamilton had his arms up. Knight is there, Dwayne Knight, and Pinball.
Pinball's one of the nicest guys that you're going to find anywhere in the world. Smiles all the time. He's going to give you that cliche 250% every time he steps on the field. But you cannot intimidate him. Not in any way, shape, or form. Size doesn't matter to him whatsoever. He is out there to do his job.
2nd and 4. Flutie looks up the middle. He's got lots of room. Slide the loose ball. Recovered. Are they going to say he was down? No, they say he was down. Argos come up with possession. And it's the 1st down.
We got to take another look at this, Rob. we really do. This could be just a little home cooking. I'm not sure. That's some of that old linebacker coming out on me. But take a look at Doug Flutie as he comes across. He's hit. His knee is down. The ball makes contact with the ground, and the turf cannot cause a fumble. Great call.
All of a sudden, I saw the Grey Cup of 1996 when Doug got a little lucky on a fumble. Long pass, leading the way. What a catch! What a catch! That is Darryl Mitchell from Texas Tech. And with a man all over him, he makes the play.
And you're right. The man is all over because he got called for the pass interference. Great concentration by the rookie, as you said, out of Texas Tech. This is a guy in '94. Played with the New Orleans Saints. Now take a look. He's just straight down the middle. It's one-on-one coverage. This is Mike Roach's kind of defense as the coordinator. Press, run with it man-to-man. And the call gets made on Shannon Garrett. Pass interference. Great catch by the rookie.
38-yard reception. 42 seconds left in the
Winnipeg
half.
number 28. Penalty is declined.
Remember we mentioned way back on the 33 that a minute 57 was plenty of time for Flutie and the Argos. Well, they've moved it to the 3-yard line. And Mitchell, 4 catches, 101 yards. Flutie looks in, pinball, touchdown! Party time in T.O. with 30 seconds left in the half.
Doug Flutie says that if you're going to try to embarrass my offense by taking my main weapon in Michael Clemens and you're going to cover him one-on-one with a receiver, I'm going to take advantage of that. Right at the top of your screen, that's Clemens that comes off the right-hand side. Doug Flutie steps back. Dexter Dawson is just nowhere to be found before Mike Clemens gets it in for 6.
Pinball just had to fall backwards, and he was home. Vanderjet is good. 24-6, the Argos lead. Nice steady march down the field, and at 14:30 of the second quarter, that looks good to Don Matthews.
You know something? The score looks good to Don Matthews, and he's glad to be ahead, but he's going to be really upset about a couple of things. Some special team mistakes, some cheap penalties that could cost you, okay? If you look at his face in the middle of that, that's a very intense guy that knows that this is only the beginning. Right at the end of the second quarter, you still got another half. You've made some mistakes. And for us to be repeating Grey Cup champions, we're going to have to play 60 minutes of error-free football.
I like the fact that he made it tough on this football team at the start of training camp by saying 15-3 and a Grey Cup championship, that's great, but we can be better. We should be better. I want to be better.
Well, you know, as I said earlier, that when you go out as Grey Cup champions and you are expected to win, it's tougher. It is so much tougher because every team raises and just they raise their level of intensity to play against you, that every game is like a Grey Cup game.
As you see, 8 plays, 77 yards in a minute 35. Vanderjet on the kick. It is handled by Dexter Dawson. Dawson tries to get away from a defender. Not going to work. He stopped at the 30. You know, and you know that from firsthand experience with the Eskimos, and repeating and repeating. Everybody comes after you, wants to chop you down. And that's the real mark of a championship team, is trying to avoid those axes.
And Don Matthews does a great job, as I said earlier, of creating such a winning environment. In a training camp that lasts in the CFL 2 weeks, okay, you're going twice a day, so basically you got 28 practices. Of those 28 practices, the Toronto Argonauts only wore pads 6 times. 2 times they wore in exhibition games. Okay, 6 other times, that's 8 times total. He says, all I want you to do, I want to see effort, I want to see sharpness, I want to see full speed, no collision.
On the handoff, it is Williams. Williams got some room. Crosses the 50 to midfield and out of bounds on the Toronto side of the midfield stripe around the 54. Ronald Williams continues to be the man for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Ronald Williams with some great effort, good burst of speed, and has terrific vision. Gets the ball outside. Now, this is a guy, like I said, this is his first year with Toronto. Came over from the BC Lions in a trade out of Clemson. 1994, he played 16 games with Cincinnati. Down in Clemson, he was an All-American and ACC Rookie of the Year.
25 yards on that pickup. Now, Vargas goes to the right side and finds room with Milt Stiegel. Stiegel gets very close to the first down marker. And that is close enough that they might call 2nd and inches, probably. 2nd and 1 they'll call it. It's 2nd and very short yardage. 7 seconds remaining in the half. And now the Bombers want to get everything straightened out. Whistles as soon as everything started. Jake Ireland talking to both sides. Third down right here, he's saying.
Winnipeg took the snap, and Vargas handed the ball off, and everything stopped. I thought I heard a whistle also, and I think that's why play stopped.
Vargas, in fact, looked at Jake Ireland like, what was that all about?
You can see somebody's in Jake's face, and Jake's getting a little upset with it. That's Chris Perez, who just came over from the Toronto Argonauts, traded to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I think that was a quick whistle.
Timeout.
Winnipeg has called a timeout to discuss this because now they're down to 3rd and 5. Calling it a loss on the play because Vargas just spun his head around as soon as that play started. And he comes over to talk to Joe Paopao about options. There's not a whole lot of options with 7 seconds remaining. So expect everybody fast downfield. Third and 5 at the Argo 47-yard line. Vargas waits, tries to get out of the way. He goes down. He's got enough for the first down with 2 seconds left. So enough for the first down with just a couple of ticks remaining.
So now it looks like they're sitting on the punting unit, and they're hopefully that Bob Cameron may be able to punt this ball into the end zone. The coverage team can get down and make the tackle in there, and that becomes a single in the Canadian Football League. And they got Troy Westwood. I'm sorry, now they're going to go for the longer field goal.
After a 48-yard field goal, Troy Westwood. Lots of foot. Is it on? Yes!
What a clutch kick by Troy Westwood.
Westwood, 48-yard field goal. It is 24-9. After 1/2 of play, Westwood scores for the Bombers. 24-9. We'll come back on ESPN with the second half here in Toronto.
$250.
At Skydome in Toronto, Ontario, the defending Grey Cup champion Argonauts lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 24-9. Alongside Hall of Famer Dan Kepley, I'm Rob Folds, and ready to kick off to begin the second half, Troy Westwood of the Bombers. Malveaux and Drummond, the deep men. Malveaux with the ball. Now to the 35, trying to find some room to get past the 40. He's held up at the 37-yard line. And looking at the numbers of the first half, Captain.
Take a look. I mean, it's easy that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are going to rush the ball a little bit more than Toronto Argonauts. But Toronto is going to come out and tell you one thing. I'm going to throw the ball. You've got to figure out how to stop it. 319 yards. The one turnover came over on a pass that Masadi was stripped of. Time of possession basically about the same, but that's going to kill you. You're going to be able to have to throw the ball in the Canadian Football League. Winnipeg's had some trouble.
Winnipeg with 11 first downs, 4 of them on penalties. Doug Flutie, the ball carrier now. He gets across for the first down and across the 50-yard line. You don't leave him alone. Darryl Mitchell was the big man for Toronto. 4 catches for 101 yards and 1 TD. Clemens 5 for 87, 1 TD. Drummond 4 for 31, 1 TD. And Masadi did the setup job, 4 for 87.
This guy Doug Flutie is one guy that can be totally instrumental in the increased sales of over-the-counter sleeping pills for defensive coordinators that have to worry about how do you try to defend Doug Flutie.
13-yard run, and now he finds Pitbull. Oh, great. Give me the number of that flight because I'm on it.
That's number 33, Nick Ferguson.
Pinball taps his helmet because that's why we're wearing them. Very close to the first down. 2nd and 1, it looks like.
Well, you see Matthews goes over there to him, gives him a little high five. There's a big smile on Pinball's face. Like I said, this guy will not be intimidated in any way, shape, or form.
He just loves to do it, and he likes to do everything. In fact, Don Matthews said we're going to use him on everything until he drops dead.
Well, what's been so good is when you surrounded him by the kind of people that you have, and you bring in a Malvo, and you bring in a Daryl Mitchell, and then you have Robert Drummond also in the back there. It takes a little bit of the pressure off of him and having to get the ball so much. And where Don Matthews really wants to utilize him is on the return team, whether it's kickoff or punt returns.
6 for 96 in a major. Take another look at the injured Bomber.
That's Tommy Fagan, number 95. Coach Mike Roach told me a funny story about him in the first game they played, his first exhibition game. He came off the sideline after the second quarter, and he looked at Coach Roach. He said, the coaches are killing me out there. The head coach is killing me. And he said, Tommy, what do you mean he's killing you? He said, he keeps punting on 3rd down. He says, can't he wait to 4th down and punt? He's killing me out there.
Well, went to Northeast Louisiana, had to learn a new game here in the CFL, and Tommy Fagan learned it quickly, didn't he?
Tommy said, Coach Roach said, this guy has got great athletic ability, good upfield push. Played at Florida State in 89 and 90, and had a couple of stops in the NFL with Green Bay and Atlanta.
Gotta hand him the rule book.
He said, that's exactly what you got to do. He said, Coach, the head man is killing us out there.
3rd and 1. Argos are going after it. Flutie cuts through. He's got it. Almost appeared there was a lot of movement on the line, but Flutie tucked it in and drives through for enough to get the first down.
Rob, I think even me and you may be able to do that on a quarterback sneak if we jump behind Kislak, the MVP offensive lineman last year, at 6'3", about 300. Dan Payne, the right guard, is 6'7", 300. And Chris Gioscas on the right-hand side. He's the small guy, 6'2", about 285.
Flutie takes a look and starts the run. Doug Flutie runs into his own man. The only reason he stopped, he ran into his own man. And you could see them try to avoid each other. They looked and they went, uh-oh, and Masadi and Flutie. Now, does Masadi get a tackle on that?
I think he does. I think maybe Masadi got a little mad. He was looking over at seeing Dexter Dawson trying to play, a defensive back as a receiver. He said, hey, watch me knock Flutie. Nobody else can touch him or tackle him. Watch what I can do to him. It's a called play, quarterback draw, spreads the formation out across. And Masadi's trying to work hard. He's trying to come inside, try to pick up a block for Doug Flutie.
1st and 10 on the 23. Flutie's in trouble. He's down. Here's the first sack. And Winnipeg knocks him down well behind the line of scrimmage.
Doug Flutie, the first thing, his head jumps up. He's looking to make sure number blue, 88, is not there making the tackle again. One of the very few times good coverage downfield by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and they're able to corral him.
Tyrone Rogers was in there along with Harry Van Hofwagen, and the two of them got him. First sack of the game belongs to the Bombers. Hofwagen from Carleton University in Ottawa, Ontario. He's a native of that area. 2nd and 20. And the catch, pinball, makes up a lot of ground. It's going to be 3rd and 5.
All day long, pitch and catch, it's right there. Anytime that Doug Flutie wants to take advantage of that mismatch, Mike Clements against Dexter Dawson. And I'm not knocking Dexter Dawson at all. I mean, they just thought with his speed, he may be able to keep up with Pinball Clements. They were going to play man-to-man with Clements and play zone around it, combined with some man. Mike Clements is taking full advantage of this, and so is Doug Flutie.
Make it an 18-yard gain. 3rd and 2. Flutie trying to turn it on the edge. Got the option. Pinball in a little bit of trouble. Does he have the speed? Pinball's now looking to throw almost. Can Pinball find the room to get the first down? I think he got it. I think he got it. but there is a flag on the play.
I think we're going to get some illegal contact by Winnipeg on a receiver in the end zone. Other than that, the option play that Doug Flutie does gives it off to Clements, and Clements just improvises as well as Doug Flutie does. Uses that great speed, gets outside, picks up the first down.
Clemens ran about 47 yards to gain 2.
Comes down the line of scrimmage. Winnipeg plays it extremely well. They take care of the quarterback. They take care of the pitch guy. But they forget how quick Mike Clements is.
4 Bombers around him. Pinball knows where the first down marker is, and off he goes. Look, he even looked like he was going to throw. First and goal from the 7-yard line. Don Matthews leading his team. Pinball Clemens doing the Pinball Clemens thing. Throw it into the end zone. Everybody turned away from it. Masadi went right. In fact, Masadi went straight, and it was Malvo who cut to the right. Ball fell between them.
Just a miscue with the routes between quarterback and the young receiver, I think. He was supposed to break to the out. Doug Flutie thought he was going to be there. Threw the ball exactly where he knew it was supposed to go.
2nd and 7. Third quarter of action. 24-9. Argonauts leading the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. First game of the season for each of these teams. Flutie takes a look, and off he goes. Gets down to the 3 before he was tripped up. So 3rd down. Goal in sight. Matthews could either bury the Bombers deep as he tries.
Called play, quarterback draw. Doug Flutie is notorious for making big plays out of nothing. When he calls his own number, just comes up a few yards short.
Don Matthews has decided to go for the field goal. Why not take the points? A 10-yarder. And good. 27-9 in favor of the Toronto Argonauts. A 10-yard field goal. And the Argos continue to go. 22 yards, 11 plays, a 10-yard field goal, and the Argos lead 27-9. Shalon Baker on the kickoff. Knocked down big time at the 25. There's the drive, and 6 minutes into the third quarter of play. You can't leave the Argos on the field that long.
No, you can't. You've got to be able to stop them to some extent, force them to try the longer field goal, or at least punt the ball. Doug Flutie, every time that he touches the ball, has been able to create great possession drives.
Well, obviously, they didn't see Kep's keys at the start of the game. There's some of the retired numbers of the great Argonauts played in this city. Argonauts have won 13 Grey Cups. Don Matthews and this squad has its way. 14 could be on the way. Just so you know that these teams have a history. Winnipeg's football team was established in 1880 as the Winnipeg Rugby Football Team. The Argos in 1873. The Blue Bombers were born in 1936. Bombers have 9 Grey Cups. Most recent one in 1990. Chris Vargas, the quarterback, pitching out. Oh, good catch under coverage for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Milt Stiegel.
This is what they want to do. Get away from the heat a little bit. Do the sprint out, the half roll out. Get your shoulders squared. Chris Vargas does a great job of throwing the ball. Milt Stiegel with a good reception.
At the 40. Just jumps it off to the outside. Bruce Boyko, fullback. the backfield, just working it out to try to get him some yardage.
Johnny Harris comes up from his halfback position to make a good stick. Toronto's very content sometimes, play a zone defense, force Vargas to have to hold the ball a little longer. When he dumps it off, that great team speed, react up on it, stop it short. That was only a 3-yard gain.
2nd and 7. From the shotgun. Vargas loops right across the middle. Ted Alford with the reception, trying some room. There's a flag. He gets right to the first down marker. And now we watch the call. Should be against the Argos.
Well, I may have to argue with you. I think we're going to get an illegal block against Winnipeg.
You're right. Well done. So Alford, who did the catch and made the good work to get to the side, kind of limping off.
Repeat 2nd down.
Ronald Williams.
He was flanked outside, and as soon as Alfred tried to make that move to get outside, take it to the corner, Williams came in, made the illegal block. It sprung him a bit, was able to pick up. Take a look at this. There's the block right there, just from behind.
And Alford got hit hard, may have twisted his ankle as he got hit by Lester Smith. 2nd and 17 on the 33. Problem with the snap, and Vargas just has to fall down on it. All the action continues, and Vargas is already walking to the bench.
Well, he knows after that, he fumbled the snap. It's 2nd and long to begin with. Then it's going to be 2nd and longer. It's in on the punting unit. Ball slightly to the low and to the right of Vargas. He does a good job just making sure that he retains possession of it, kick it away, and hopefully the defense can come up big.
Calling on Bob Cameron to get them out of harm's way.
Bob Cameron's 294th career game. As a punter, if you can imagine this, as a punter, he has kicked 2,423 times for 103,933 yards.
Okay, you do the math. We'll figure out how many miles that is. Argos lead the Bombers 27-9 in the 3rd quarter. Moody looks at it and has some trouble. Now getting out of trouble his own. Still got room, looking for receivers. Throws downfield. Does he have somebody? No. It's out of bounds. He almost made something out of a lot of nothing.
This is exactly what he does best. This is one of the series that they like to run. It's an inside option shovel series. He's going to try to get it into Drummond. They play good defense. He gets bumped off his route. Doug loses concentration just slightly, picks up the ball, bounces right up in him. Now this is just another play for Doug. He makes something happen, rifles it out of bounds, doesn't take the loss. Then he's able to tee it up. 2nd and 10, and this is no problem for him.
2nd and 10. Now we were doing the math on Bob Cameron and his punting, and we figured that 104,000 yards now works out to about 59 miles, over 59 miles, 94 kilometers. It picked off by the Bombers. Plenty of room now for the Bombers to get way downfield. And the Toronto Argonauts turn over the ball.
Shannon Garrett, halfback, comes up with a pick, makes a great break on the ball on the out route.
Toronto, no win. 9.
There was a penalty against Toronto, a procedure call. Of course, that is declined. And Shannon Garrett is holding on to that ball.
Doug Flutie hangs it out there just a little bit. He had just talked to Mazzotti in the huddle. Ball hung up slightly. Garrett made a great break on the ball, does a good job picking it off, getting it down, and that's Robert Drummond that comes over and makes the tackle on him. A little bit of pressure right up the middle. Number 56, I should say, Shante Peoples.
Turnovers, 2 of them by Toronto. This one is huge. At the 7, Vargas, not Ron Williams. He fights to the 2, perhaps the 3. So a 4-yard gain.
Now, Rob, right at the end, you remember just about the same place. Vargas and Winnipeg had it deep into Toronto's territory. They had been able to run the ball 3 or 4 times very successfully. Then he went to the out.
Offside. Toronto number 91. First down.
1st and 3 on the offside by the Argos' Demetrius Maxey.
Here's the interception again. Doug tries to throw that pass that he throws and he spins out. He's been very, very successful with that. Shante Peoples in there putting the heat on it. Now he's having a conversation with Masadi on the sideline. Obviously the 2 trying to get on the same page.
1st and goal. Vargas to give to Williams across the line. Yes! Touchdown, Williams, a 3-yarder. This coming in the 3rd quarter, 11 minutes in.
And it 2 and deep. Let him work off that left side behind Christopher Perez, the left tackle. 6'6", 290. McNeil, the guard, finds just a little seams, able to break it behind the pursuit. Gets it across for the major.
Now Troy Westwood will try to make it 27-16. It is up and good. It is 27-16. Making a turnover pay. The Bombers close the gap. Putting the Bombers by 11 here in the 3rd quarter at Skydome. Doug Flutie swings it out to the pinball. Cross midfield to the 53-yard line, Winnipeg territory. Action getting a little rough and ready now. Under 3 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. A couple of majors in this quarter. Rather, 1 major, 1 field goal by Toronto to go ahead 27-9. And then after an interception, Ronald Williams rolled in from 3 yards to make it 27-16. It's the 2nd time Pinball's lost his shoe on this evening. And on the punt, Vanderjagt. Shalon Baker knocked down at the 27-yard line.
Just to remind everybody, in the Canadian Football League, there are no fair catches, but the coverage team does have to give the return man a 5-yard cushion. Now, if you time it just right, that you're 6 yards and he makes the catch, it could be an unbelievable collision.
It is 1st and 10 Winnipeg on the 24. Quarterback Chris Vargas. Give is to Ronald Williams. Williams charges through. He's got the 1st down and a couple yards more.
Terrific play running inside. A little counter trap. Williams does an excellent job. Follow that blocker. Makes the cut upside. Good, powerful running inside. This will really help the Winnipeg Blue Bombers establish a little more time. They want to go play action, throw the ball over the middle.
94 yards on 12 carries. He's got the major for the Bombers, and it gets it again. Runs into traffic just across the 40-yard line. Full service for Williams tonight by Jeff Reinbold and the Bombers.
Great asset about backs like that you can use them. You can run hard inside. You can pitch to them, run outside, but then you can line them up and you can put them in a slot and throw them and make them a receiver.
He's got a couple catches tonight. All the action to the wide side. And the work came defensively by Marcelo Simmons on top of his man. Milt Stiegel, slot back.
Good look at the pressure up front. Andrew Stewart working on Brent McNeil. Brent doing a great job. Gets that low center of gravity. Gets up underneath the pads of Stewart. He talked about it just before the game. Brent being just a little shorter than he is. He thought if he got the pass rush up, Brent had a good chance of getting those pads up underneath him and being able to stop that upfield rush that he's been so well known for.
Bob Cameron is back and punting to the pinball at the 23. And gets to the 34.
You know, it would be pretty good if Bob Cameron, if he got air miles on some of his punts. This guy would be traveling around the world free most of the time.
He has been a mainstay in Winnipeg 18 years. Next CFL telecast on ESPN, July 12th. Calgary against Montreal. Please check your local listings for the time in your area. We talked about Bob Cameron, at the 18-year veteran. He was the Hank Creighton Trophy winner for his work as a quarterback at Acadia University. Hank Creighton for the top collegiate player. Found a role in Winnipeg, and certainly he's made it his home and just loves it there. And they love him in Winnipeg too. As you're talking about Clemens in Toronto, Bob Cameron, a major part of the community and a lot of charity work in Manitoba.
That's the workhorse. Ronald Williams coming off very slowly. He's had a full day of work so far today.
Argo's next action will be against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will return home to face Montreal. As we see 1st and 10 for Flutie and company. Flutie. Oh, Malvo makes the catch. Philman Malvo makes a terrific catch. And the Argos are now on the Winnipeg side of the field. Argos leading the Bombers by 11 at Skydome in Toronto. As the 4th quarter begins with the Argonauts ahead by 11, Argos will start at the 46-yard line in Winnipeg territory. Doug Flutie gets away from pressure. He's deep in trouble. Throws to the sidelines. There's nobody there. He just saved himself.
Hamilton did a great job with pressure that time. Good containment outside. Doug Flutie had nowhere to go. Decides just to rifle it up into the nickel seats. Take a look at these comparisons here. 721 attempts for Vargas, 51 yards. Doug Flutie, 22 completions on 28 times, 384 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the one thing that'll upset him the most, 1 interception.
Still a quarter left too, so he can just sort of get that over the 400 comfortably.
He set such a high precedent of what he can do. 400 is the norm for Doug Flutie.
2nd and 10. Back to pass is Flutie. He crosses. Was it picked off? No. And you can see the work there by Shannon Garrett, who's already got the interception against him. Stepped in, looked like he had another one as he tried to get in front of Andre Kerwin.
Shannon Garrett, in his 3rd year with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, is out of Mississippi College. 1996, he had 2 picks, one of them for a 102-yard touchdown against Montreal. Smart guy also. He's in the academic All-American team, the Gulf South Conference, which Mississippi College is in.
Mike Vanderjet getting his 3rd punt in of the game. It's a high
Sailor goes over Shalon Baker. Baker will give up the single point. And a single for Vanderjet makes it 28-16.
Again, just to remind people of some of the rules of the Canadian Football League, the punt sails into the end zone. They decide to kneel it down, give up a single point to Toronto. The ball comes out, scrimmage 1st and 10 on the 35-yard line.
Now Chris Vargas, with his team down by 12 points, knows that 2 scores has him and his club ahead. Problem is, he's trying to move it against the Toronto defense. Toronto's got all 12 defensive starters. They're veterans. Vargas has it go off the hand. It's a good try for Stiegel, but off the hand it out. Check that. That was Sean Graham.
Sean Graham coming on a quick slant route. The ball just slightly thrown behind him. Chris Vargas does a great job setting up and throwing the ball with some zip on it.
And he hasn't got rattled yet at all.
Now he seems to be, I think as Christopher Perez, the left tackle, identified him as, he's a very quiet confidence.
Shalon Baker was hit as he went up for that. Defensively, that was Donald Smith on him. Vargas was trying to make all that yardage up. And Bob Cameron, who's seen a lot of work, comes back onto the field.
Take a look as he comes across the middle. Donald Smith does a great job. A lot of blue shirts. Vargas throwing it into a crowd.
You almost think that if he got bumped one more time, the ball hung up enough, there was enough double blue around to pick it up. Cameron on the punt, pinball, tracks it down at the 30. And that is where he'll pretty much stay. Only a couple of yards for pinball. The Toronto Argonauts leading the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 28-16 in the 4th quarter.
Here we are at Skydome, a great facility. The roof is open on a perfect summer night in Toronto, Ontario. Flutie floats one, and Mitchell hauls it in. That had great hang time.
That's unfortunate. That's not a real good pass by Doug Flutie. He gets great results, but something tells you that there's some serious things wrong with the defense when a pass can be thrown off the back heel, hang up in the air for about 3 or 4 seconds, and nobody gets to make a play defensively on it, and it goes as a completion. But this is what this man, Doug Flutie, does all the time. He makes something wonderful all the time.
3rd and 7. That brings in Mike Vanderjet. He skies one. Shalon Baker at his own 22. Trying to get some field position, and he's not going to get a great special teams work by the Toronto Argonauts, and there are 2 Bombers peeling off Mike Vanderjet. 4th quarter action at Skydome in Toronto. The Argonauts leading. Down by 12, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 1st and 10 at their own 28. Getting around and to the outside. Milt Stiegel, the slot back. 6-yard gain. We haven't talked about it. We talked a little bit at the beginning of the show about Toronto being the favorite in the East. What about in the West? Who do you like?
Well, I mean, it's been a given that 2 teams out there set such a high standard and precedent as far as being in the Western final, and that would be Edmonton and Calgary. But I can tell you right now that the Saskatchewan Roughriders came up with a big win during the course of this week, and also the BC Lions have improved their team. So it's going to be a much better battle in the West than in the East this year.
4-horse race in the West. And Calgary and Edmonton, they have that natural rivalry, dislike, hate.
2 teams both in Alberta, 150 miles apart, and it does become a very huge dislike.
And in the East, Montreal has to be considered because Tracy Ham has returned. They had a good year, 12-6 last season. They got a little sidetrack when they got to the postseason. They ran in to some double blue.
Yeah, some guy named Doug Flutie.
Yeah. Remember, the Bombers down. This is Williams.
This is Williams again. Gets his legs taken out from under him. And that's just helmet to helmet. Looks like Johnny Harris and Williams that collided. And that's Johnny Harris, who's number 7, who's seems to be taken the worst of it.
I thought that was Williams because the way he got popped. Williams, 14 carries, 104 yards, and a touchdown.
I take it back. That's not. I'd say we couldn't see the number, but it's Donald Smith.
We had 3 Smiths in the backfield, and you went with Johnny Harris.
I figured, you know what? I figured the Smiths are getting way too much play tonight. Way too much. Let's go with somebody else.
Well, getting your body thrown in, and Smith slowly rocks off. That's Donald Smith. There's also Adrian and Lester, along with Johnny Harris and Marcelo Simmons, the defensive backfield.
It looks like Kelly Wilhite out of James Madison will come in and play the halfback, and they'll move Marcelo Simmons over to the corner.
Fourth quarter of action. Just over 10 minutes remaining. Argonauts lead the Bombers by 12. Winnipeg on their own 40-yard line. Chris Vargas calling signals. Steps back, looking for a receiver, sees no one, takes off, stripped of the ball, loose ball, recovered by O'Shea. Mike O'Shea, quick to see the ball and fall on it.
Chris Vargas, good coverage downfield by the Toronto Argonauts. Their secondary is going to break the pocket, try to come up. And just watch the good containment on the outside by number 91. That's Demetrius Maxey. Vargas thinks he has him beat, coming back inside, but nah. Maxey's going to fall back inside, strips that ball, gets that big right paw out, knocks the ball loose. Mike O'Shea comes up with the recovery.
Flutie not happy at all as he's 1st and 10, trying to get his team in position. He'll be happy with this. This has got him in great field position with Malvo. A crossing pattern, and Malvo takes it down to the inside the 20-yard line, a 21-yard carry. This kid hasn't played football in about 4 years. He's shaking off the rust very quickly.
When he was at Michigan, he went to the track team. Now, this guy is a legitimate 10.3 100-meter man. A lot of speed. You really have to respect that, and he's showing tonight. Not only has he got the speed, he's got some really good hands.
Flutie off the back foot again to Masadi. Masadi tries to stiff arm the defender. That was Hamilton. He tried to push aside. He gets pushed out of bounds, and it's a 1st down. Flutie now over 400 yards in passing.
Some of the defensive series that Winnipeg has been using, trying to match up with man, and as soon as you start to make those crossing routes, you create some separation between you and the defender, and Doug Flutie has taken full advantage of that tonight.
1st and goal. Look at the time for Flutie. Look who he finds. Paul Masadi into the end zone. Touchdown, Toronto. Well, the first turnover by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and the Argonauts turn it into 6.
Doug Flutie all day long to throw, gets that big drop. He's about 8 or 10 yards back, waits for his receivers to clear from the defenders, and Paul Masadi with a little dramatics as he dives across the goal line into the major.
A little rugby football action, getting the try, going down to make sure it was spotted. This time Masadi is smiling. 6 receptions, 106 yards. He got his major, too.
That is Paul Masadi's 18th 100-yard plus game in his 10-year career.
All of them with the Argonauts. 3 plays, 40 yards, a minute 8 on the 6-yard reception set up by the fumble. Mike O'Shea was there to jump on it, and Doug Flutie and company make them pay.
Paul Masadi still holds for the Toronto Argonauts a single game receiving record. 10 catches, 240 yards, over 24 yards per catch.
Linebacker Doug Hawking rattled on that play. And he is talking to one of the guys who got him in great position, Feldman Malveaux. M&M, Malveaux, and Mitchell have done the job at the slots, and then you mix in one more M. Masadi. Dwayne Demetrician might have to throw an M in there somewhere so he could be part of the M's.
We get this Malveaux, Masadi, and Mitchell. Maybe they can go over there and talk to those 3 Smith guys, and they can get this thing teed up. There's a look of a determined veteran right there. Bob Cameron. He is not used to being beaten this way.
Point after by Vanderjet. It is 35-16. The Argonauts leading the way in the 4th quarter at Skydome. Quarter of action. 6-12. Masadi a touchdown. And the Argos kicking off to the Bombers. Dexter Dawson. A little running room, and he's using all of it. And now he breaks it open. To the 50. Crosses the 50. Nice dance by Dexter Dawson. Harris coming in to make him finally slow down. And Dawson kind of dancing off. A 57-yard kick and a 33-yard return. Doug Flutie finding Paul Masadi on the touchdown strike to make it 35-16. 3 plays, 40 yards, a quick minute and 8 seconds. Flutie right now, 427 yards, 4 TDs, an interception, and he's 26 of 33. Chris Vargas, the quarterback for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, finds a man wide open. Touchdown, Milt Stegall. Great play by Vargas to Stegall.
Awesome pitch and catch that time. Chris Vargas just steps back, takes a quick 5-step drop. Stegall straight up the seam, splits the zone, and Chris Vargas makes no mistake about getting the ball there on the target. Take a look at this, and it's got some zip on it, folks. Good catch, able to throw it right before Lester Smith is able to come over and make a play.
And this will change the complexion just a little bit. Point after by Westwood. It's good.
Well, you got to go back and think a little bit about what kind of complexion it may have changed had they run that play a little bit earlier, and that turnover that Chris Vargas made when Demetrius Maxey stripped him of the ball. There's the halfback. He's going to sit back in the zone. Nope. Stegall's just going to come straight down. Watch him squat. Goes to the outside. Safety's going to come over. Not quick enough, it looks like. And Stegall with a good catch. Excellent read by the young quarterback, Chris Vargas.
And now Milt Stegall, 3 catches, 72 yards. He's got a touchdown. And it's a 12-point lead.
Way to block, baby.
Hey, there you go, Bill.
Way to go, baby. Way to block, baby. Feels good. Hey, nice job, baby. Nice job.
Quick play after the turnover by the Argonauts, and they were able to jump in front by 19. That's down to 12 with still 8:06 left.
I think performance so far, I mean, the Winnipeg offense has shown that they can move the ball, they can run the ball inside and outside, they can throw the ball quite well, obviously when given time. The only problem that seems to have taken place today is that this Toronto offense has just taken advantage of the Winnipeg defense, and they've come up with some formations that Winnipeg just hasn't been able to adjust to.
Pinball Clemens at the 15. Cuts to the outside, gets hit around the 37-yard line. And here is a scoring drive by Stiegel. One play, 59 yards that ate up all of 22 seconds. Still leaving Winnipeg lots of time. 61-yard kickoff, a 24-yard return by Pinball Clemens. Well, as you were talking about Winnipeg, they've added some different tools. Ronald Williams looks like he's going to be the rushing guy. Richardson was the man for him last season. Now you've got Ronald Williams, and it looks like with Stiegel, the slot back, he gives Vargas some options too, along with Shalon Baker and Alfred. Starting from the 38-yard line, 2-yard gain.
Talking a little bit more about their offense, the Winnipeg's offense, the fact is they lost 4 of 6 offensive linemen through either retirement or trade this past year. So these are guys, this is the first time this unit has actually collectively played together as a 5-man front. And they've done an excellent job against a tough defense.
Doug Flutie calling signals from the shotgun. Rolls to his right. Finds lots of room, and there he goes. Races on. Flutie to the 40, across the 40, and down he goes. Mr. First down, Doug Flutie.
It's pretty easy to do, and Doug Flutie makes it look tremendously easy. Is if you do not have any contained man outside, as soon as Doug sees that, starts to roll out slightly to his right. Now watch this. They come to blitz up the middle. The end gets trapped inside. Everybody has their back turns as far as the defensive backs because they're chasing the receivers down the field, and Doug Flutie just picks up tremendous yardage.
33-yard, there it is. 7 rushes, 93 yards. Flutie, quick little give. Drummond doesn't like what he sees. He cuts back in and out and makes the gain. Door shut. He went to the back door.
Well, we saw that Doug had rushed for 93 yards so far this game. Last year, he rushed 101 times for 756 yards, 9 touchdowns. But when he starts to run, he doesn't run just out of fear. He doesn't run. He runs to make plays happen. And then when he runs the buy time to find receivers open downfield. And when he has to make something big like we just saw in that play before, then that's what he does.
2nd and 4, 6-yard gain for Robert Drummond. And a whistle, 3 flags on the play. A lot of people moving. Well, and as you said too, Flutie has in the playbook designed plays for him to take off. So they know what he can do, and they just say he'll call his own number. Let's go.
Well, Doug calls all the plays.
Yeah.
Okay, the thing that we didn't talk about also is Toronto lost 3 coaches from the Grey Cup championship team from last year. Adam Rita goes as the head coach to the BC Lions. Charlie Carpenter, the offensive line coach, goes with Adam Rita and from Montreal. And then also Mark Nelson leaves, and he's coaching down in Valdosta State with Mike Kelly, who was the offensive coordinator for Winnipeg last year.
Flutie now rolls to the left, and he throws too far for Darryl Mitchell.
So just to finish the thought, the guy that they hired was John Jenkins to coach the offensive coordinator. Now, the one thing that Coach Matthews made it perfectly clear, when most coaches come in, they bring their offensive system. Matthews says, listen, I have an offensive system in place. I had it in place in BC, in Saskatchewan, in Baltimore, and in Toronto. If you want to come in and coach, you come in and learn our system, and that's exactly what has happened.
Jenkins was with Hamilton last year, gets the opportunity to steer Doug Flutie. And now we'll get a chance to see the foot of Mike Vanderjagt from 44 yards. Flutie with the hold. Vanderjagt is good. 38-23.
When you're hot, you're hot. Everything's going good. Vanderjagt, 40 for 56 last year. His longest, 51. And he made that look easy.
And it also gives the Argonauts a 2-touchdown and a buffer. 15 points, the lead for the Argonauts. Next game of the Canadian Football League on ESPN, July 12th, Calgary against Montreal. Check your local listings for the time in your area. Jeff Garcia and the Stampeders against Tracy Ham and the Alouettes.
Another quick Canadian Football League rule. After a made field goal, you have the option either have them kick off or scrimmage it from the 35. Hamilton decides to scrimmage from the 35.
Looking long for Milt Stegall was Vargas. He was covered neatly by the Argos' Johnny Harris.
Johnny Harris, in his second year with the Toronto Argonauts, does an excellent job one-on-one coverage. Out of Mississippi State, great speed, good adjustment to the football, almost comes up with an interception had not Milt Stegall decided to play defender.
Harris got good size too, 6'2", what, 195 pounds. Second and 10, Bombers on the 35. Vargas starts the roll. He dumps it on there for Bruce Boyko. Boyko stacked up in the 40, just across the 40-yard line. 5-yard gain. Part of the Boyko boys in Winnipeg. Twin brothers Boyko. Bruce and Alan are playing. That was Bruce who made the catch. Bruce, though, got the best in size. Bruce is 6'2" and 220. Twin brother Alan is 6 foot 185.
And they're not the only pair of brothers on there. There's Colin Scribner and Glenn Scribner that both play defensive line. Glenn is coming off of a leg injury. Should be back in the lineup in about 3 weeks.
It's good they were playing the Argonauts with all those Smiths. We got the Smiths, the Boykos, the Scribners.
The Hatfields, the McCoys, we're there.
Punt by Cameron. He had trouble with the snap. It bounces, and Pinball has to race over. He's not going to get to it, and it bounces out of bounds around the 13. So those are Winnipeg bounces as it rolls out of bounds, and Pinball is wondering he couldn't even get near that one. "57-yard kick and nothing on the return." So Doug Flutie marches out again and will start deep in his own zone. Look at that, 427 yards, 93 rushing.
Just to let you know a few of Doug's stats. In 1991, he passed for 6,619 yards. 1993, he passed for 6,092 yards. 91, he was 38 touchdowns. 93, he was 44 touchdowns.
And charging up, that is Drummond. An 11-yard carry for the first down.
Now you got to think of this, Rob. How'd you like to be a Heisman Trophy winner named Andre Ware and be your backup quarterback?
And waiting.
And waiting
with a 5-time
waiting for
MVP.
Doug Flutie to say, I'm a little tired. My arm's a little sore tonight. I've only thrown for 9,000 yards.
Especially with the numbers that you just threw at us. Yeah, well, he had a bad year then last year. He only had 29 touchdowns.
Yeah, and
passing, plus the 9 rushing, so he only had 38.
In 1994, he had 48 touchdowns. That was his highest ever.
Flutie rolls around the right side. He finds the first down marker and just trots gently out of bounds. Another first down. Less than 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Toronto Argonauts lead the Blue Bombers by 15. Argonauts leading the Blue Bombers 38-23. First game of the regular season for both these squads are at Skydome. And Pinball Clemens hauls in the pass. He gets to the 40-yard line. Pinball has over 200 yards tonight in all-purpose yards. He does it everywhere.
I think I happened to mention earlier in the broadcast, 1996, combined yardage, 2,626. They just like to get his hands on the football.
And now with Williams and Jimmy the Jet Cunningham leaving the team from last year, opens the door for Pinball to do a little more on returns. There he's got 9 catches for 127 yards. He's got a touchdown. And right now, Doug Flutie charges up the middle. Usually he slides, but like a running back, he kept charging right in there. And gets the first down.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure that he had the first down. Quarterback draw, he sees the play. Now, you never know. I mean, for us sitting up here, the layman's, we don't know whether that's called in the huddle or not. He may have a play called, have everybody run out and be running their patterns and that stuff. He just sees something and he goes for it. He makes it happen.
On the 48. Another first down. Doug's now got over 100 yards in rushing himself. Little pitch there to Pinball. And bing, bing, bing.
It just shows you how many weapons that this Toronto offense has in their arsenal. They can use everybody in any different position. Pinball there lines up as the tailback. Drummond lines up as a wide receiver. Drummond runs about a 4.3, 4.4 40, and he's at 6'3", 215. Pinball can line up anywhere, so they can change their offensive setups and get mismatches without changing their personnel. That is the great asset in the Canadian Football League.
Second and 4, Argos on the 54.
And Toronto has gone out of its way to put together a talented squad to make sure that they have the best opportunity they can of going after another Grey Cup. And that is what the plan was from the beginning. Minute 24 remaining, fourth quarter.
Doug's very content on the 22nd clock just to let it run right down.
And he finds an open man. It's the Pinball. And he's across for a first down. Or at least very close to it. No, they're moving the chains. First down.
The inside fake dumps it out to Clemens very quickly. He tries to get out there one-on-one with players. Brendan Hamilton does a great job of trying to tackle this guy one-on-one in the open field.
First and 10 at the 50-yard line. Into Winnipeg territory. March the Argos. The pitch is to Pinball. Pinball gets through. He's across. First down and more. 15-yard gain for Pinball.
I think in the first half that Doug Flutie's stats were somewhere around 380 yards passing, about 19 rushing. What they establish in the end is they're going to win by throwing the ball. But don't be mistaken. If they have to run it and they want to run it, they can run it.
And with Drummond there to complement Clemens, very potent. And there's Drummond there. Thank you, Doug, for showing us your other running back.
We talk about potent. That's number 5. That's Dexter Dawson coming up now. He tips the scale. He's about 5'9", 180 pounds. And as I said, Robert Drummond comes up at 6'3", 215, and he's a load. He is a load.
Dexter just bounces on. Second and 4, Bombers on the 28. On the Bombers 28, the Argos. The give again, and look at the work. Muscling this one in, Robert Drummond. 16 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
This is a terrific offense, and Doug Flutie obviously and very rightly gets most of the credit of what goes on, but he is surrounded by great individuals. That is the one thing that Don Matthews has done, and the guys that don't get enough credit are the guys up front. That's Mike Kislak at center, Dan Payne at run guard, Pierre Vercheval at the other guard, Chris Giaskis at the tackle, and their new addition, Willie Williams, who comes out of LSU. He played in the WLAF over in Amsterdam, I think, last year. And these guys, he's the new guy, and these guys are what's making it happen for the Toronto Argonauts.
Giving Flutie the time to do so many things. If he wants to roll right or left, if he wants to get the time to find a receiver, he's got that. And if he decides to go up the middle, they'll open a hole for him. First and 10. 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Time running down. And that is what Doug Flutie will do. No need to worry
13 seconds left. He'll run the clock, and the Argonauts will walk out their first win of the 1997 regular season campaign. The plan by this man is all starting to come together. Don Matthews said, we can be better than 15-3.
Yeah, and all he said from 1996 to 1997, all I need is three things. Make my team younger, make it faster, and make me better at the backup quarterback position. And Eric Tillman has done that for Don Matthews.
He's younger, he's faster, he's got a backup quarterback, and they've got their first win of the regular season. 38-23 of the final. Argonauts defeat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at Skydome in Toronto.
What would you give to be more confident? What would you give for the knowledge it takes to move with certainty through every business day?
The Toronto Argonauts start the defense of their Grey Cup championship with a 38-23 victory over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And Dan Kepler, you said this team wanted to get younger and faster. They did that, but they can still score.
Well, they certainly can, and they showed that they can score at will tonight. The thing that Doug Flutie can really do, he can move the ball around, he'll throw it when he wants to, and if he has to run it, he'll show you that he can run it also.
And the numbers show that, too. As we take a look at the final stats for tonight's contest, they scream at you.
Well, but it tells you where the focus of the Toronto offense is going to be. We're going to throw the ball for 438 yards. We're going to maintain possession for 38 minutes and 31 seconds. But the big thing that Doug Flutie will say, we need to correct that 2 turnovers.
Heck of a start. Next game on ESPN comes your way July 12th when Calgary plays Montreal. Check your local listings for the time in your area. The CFL on ESPN is a production of Deer Creek Productions in association with ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Dan Kepler, I'm Rob Fultz. Take care.